Aggregate demand AD and aggregate supply AS are fundamental concepts in macroeconomics that play a crucial role in understanding the overall performance and dynamics of an economy. The interplay between these two forces influence the level of economic activity, price level, and the overall equilibrium in the market. Aggregate demand represents the total demand for goods and services within an economy at a given price level. It is influenced by factors such as price level, investment, government expenditure, and net exports. Figure above shows an AD curve. The AD curve is downward sloping, indicating an inverse relationship between the price level and the aggregate output. On the other hand, aggregate supply represents the total output of goods and services that producers are willing and able to supply at different price levels. It is influenced by factors such as productivity of labor, price, technology, wage rate, price of non-labor input, and supply shock. Figure above shows an AS curve. The AS curve has a positive slope in the short run, indicating a direct relationship between the price level and the aggregate output. Macroeconomic equilibrium refers to a state in which AD equals AS in an economy. At this equilibrium point, there is no inherent tendency for output, employment, or the price level to change, providing a stable state for the economy. In this equilibrium, the level of output is at its potential or natural level, representing the maximum sustainable output the economy can produce without generating inflationary or recessionary pressures. If AD exceeds AS, there will be upward pressure on prices and the economy may experience inflation. Conversely, if AS exceeds AD, there will be downward pressure on prices and the economy may face recessionary conditions.
The current issue is about Top Glove Corporation. Top Glove, one of the world's largest glove manufacturers, expects a supply shortage following increased demand from Europe and the United States, exceeding its capacity due to the spread of COVID-19. The company extended its delivery period to accommodate increased demand. Top Glove is capable of producing 200 million natural and synthetic rubber gloves a day. A few customers made panic orders. Usually, they ordered 10 containers a month, but now it suddenly increased to 20 containers. There must be shortcomings. Over 100% booking. However, we can only increase capacity by 20%, where there is a shortage of around 50 to 80%. Top Glove coordinates delivery periods from as little as 30 days to 150 days. Top Glove manage demand by limiting quantities so that more customers get supplies. We will deal with good problems to solve. Top Glove increased its factory utilization level by 10% to 55%. The company added around 1,000 workers to accommodate the high production.
News about aggregate demand. From the start on March 2019, Malaysia's Top Glove Corp posted on Wednesday reported a 9.3% of annual jump in its fiscal second quarter net profit, helped by higher sales volume, and the company guided for better performance in the months ahead as demand for its products saw amid COVID-19 pandemic. In a state of imbalance between supply and demand, the rubber glove industry is suffering from high capital expenditures to expand production capacity, some of which has been put on hold given the current situation. Top Glove estimates glove demand will grow by 20% in year 2019, 25% in 2020, and 15% after the pandemic. Delivery times have surged on the strong demand and now stand at 510 days for nitrile gloves, the company said. In the final leg of talks with US Customs on import ban, temporary factory closures to hit sales output by 4%. Next is the data about aggregate demand of the gloves. The aggregate demand will change in quantity demanded for the aggregate output. The shift in the prices will shift the quantity of the aggregate output. From the data, change in the quantity aggregate output required is indicated by the displacement from 2019 to 2023 on the AD curve. And this is a slide showing a short-term COVID-19 scandal rocked the top glove company. The data shows a downward sloping of the aggregate demand curve. At price level, the movement along eddy curve includes consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net export was shift of eddy curve about the global demand for rubber gloves. These data show glove consumption of the global in 2019 to 2023. The reasons for downward sloping of the aggregate demand curve includes the scale of distribution, global market position, exceptional founder, and also unbeatable R&D investment.
Aggregate supply. Aggregate supply refers to the total quantities of goods and services that all the producers in an economy are willing and able to supply at a given price level and within a specific time period. The current aggregate supply issues chosen is eggs. Eggs in Malaysia have encountered aggregate supply issue recently, primarily due to factors such as disease outbreak and transportation disruption. Here's a breakdown of the challenges faced. First, avian flu outbreak. Malaysia has experienced sporadic outbreak of avian flu, and these outbreaks have resulted in the culling of infected poultry, including chickens and ducks, which significantly reduced the egg supply. Second, disease control measure. Quarantine measures and movement restrictions were imposed on affected area and lead to disruption in the production and distribution of eggs as poultry farms had to adhere to strict biosecurity protocols. Third, transportation disruption. Restriction on movement and changes in logistics during the COVID-19 pandemic affected the transportation of eggs from farm to distribution center and retailer. This resulted in delays and the decrease in the availability of eggs in certain areas. Fourth, increased demand. During the pandemic, there was a surge in demands for eggs as people stocked up on essential food items, and this led to temporarily shortage and price fluctuation in the egg market.
Eggs are the cheapest source of protein for many in Malaysia. It's no surprise that the shortage of eggs reported in the past month.
The avian flu outbreak is ravaging global poultry flocks and striking egg-laying hens throughout 2022. As a result of recurrent outbreaks, US eggs inventories were 29% lower in the final week of December 2022 than at the beginning of the year. Since the outbreak began in February 2022, more than 48 million egg-laying hens had been lost to the disease or depopulation by the end of December. Losses were spread across two waves, from February to June and from September to December. Due to limited supply, wholesale egg price increased throughout the year. The four HPAI outbreaks further reduced egg inventories that had not recovered from the spring wave. Furthermore, the latest outbreak wave occurred at a time when the industry is seasonally adjusting the egg-laying flocks to meet the increased demand for eggs during the winter holiday season. Lower shell eggs inventories near the end of the year, combined with increased demand from the holiday baking season, result in several weeks of record high egg prices.
In conclusion, understanding the dynamics of aggregate demand and aggregate supply is crucial for analyzing and predicting economic trends. By studying the factors that influence both, we gain insights into the overall health of an economy, which can guide policymakers and businesses in making informed decisions. Balancing and adjusting these forces effectively are essential for maintaining stability and promoting sustainable economic growth.
And I've been feeling blue, you're the one that I need.